Okay, new banknote acquisition video part 2. I showed you guys a video on some interesting and beautiful foreign currency. I picked up actually a nice little stack of various US, a lot of older, obsolete type stuff that I think you'll enjoy. So a military payment certificate. I've showed one of these to you in an earlier video from a while ago. This is a Series 611, $1. I believe it was used in 1969. And an interesting point of fact about a military payment certificate is that these were printed specifically for use of our armed forces overseas. And they were updated with new designs. So that way, you know, let's say if someone were captured and, you know, enemy forces had a handful of these, they couldn't use them. They would be deemed worthless. So I picked up a few of these. This is a $1. It's in okay shape. You know, it's like maybe a fine. But I like the look of it, you know, and it was relatively inexpensive. Now here's another one that's a little bit rare, and I'll show you why. This is a 50 cents. This is a Series 541. This is about 10 years older than the previous military payment certificate I showed you, and I believe this was used in like Northern Ireland, Greece, Korea, I believe. This one is what they call a replacement note. If you look at current notes, like a $1, $5, or $10 bill, and they have the star on them, that designates that they are a replacement note for one that was damaged in printing. So this one right here, usually capping off the serial number, will be 2 letters. You know, for example, a regular note like this would have an F in the beginning and an F after the last 7 there to, you know, kind of make up a regular issue note. The replacement notes, they leave off the suffix of the serial number, and that's what this is. And they're more desirable and they're worth a lot more money. This one I picked up actually real reasonable, and it's something I could double my money on if I needed to. And it's about a VF condition, well handled, you know, a little piece of history right there. So this next note is really cool, and it's a $1 North Africa, and you know, it's worn. But the cool thing is, you have signatures on these. North Africa, these were distributed to our armed forces that were stationed in North Africa. And we're talking, you know, like Egypt, Morocco, all of those states up there. The signatures, from what I was told, this one says Cairo, which is the capital of Egypt. And then these were some of the gentlemen that signed it that are in the Air Force. M.L. Myers. I think we have a Wesley Stanton or Stanford. Donald something or other. But you know, it's really cool. I mean, it's not worth a ton of money unless it was signed by a president or maybe one of the secretaries of Treasury, which sometimes you do find those, and you know, they're worth some money. Okay, there's the reverse. Looks like a standard $1 bill. It does not have the, was it "In God We Trust" on top of the 1 in the middle. So that was my $1 North Africa. Found this in circulation. Only kept it because it was a 63B. It's a Barr note, which is the Joseph Barr, controversial Secretary of Treasury that didn't hold his job that very long. Plus the serial number is interesting. It's like a half ladder and a half in a row. So you got 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the second half is 5, 5, 5, 5, you know, and it's flanked by G and I for the serial number. So I guess you would call this a GI Bill. You know, so that's a 63, same reverse as any other dollar. Found this one in a strap of 5s. It's a radar, or what they call palindrome. So the first 4 numbers is the exact mirror of the second 4. So, you know, pretty interesting, and that's a keeper. See, I don't have a problem keeping the little bit higher denominations as long as we're not talking 50s or 100s. Then we, you know, might be getting carried away. Picked up this really nice, crisp, uncirculated 34A, earlier $10 bill. You know, it's really nice. The ink is so much darker on this. Actually, I think it has one fold in there, which would disqualify it as being true crisp uncirculated. So we're probably looking at maybe a high XF, low AU. So that's what that looks like. Now here's a real beauty. It's got one single fold down the middle, but it's crisp. 1995, you know. Picked this up for face, of course. Okay, and I picked up another 20 that's older. This one's a 34A as well, so it's a dark green seal and numbers. It's got the big district seal on there. Pretty cool. And paid $5 over face for this one. There's the reverse. Okay, and then I got a really nice note here. $20 national. It's not like any one of the 12 whatchamacallit. It's like, it's not San Francisco or New York or Boston or St. Louis. This is actually a one-off charter. The Seaboard Citizens National Bank of Norfolk, Virginia. So that's pretty nice. It's a type 1. Type 1 means it doesn't have the charter number reprinted in the dark red ink. You know, it's got it in black down the side, but it's really interesting. And this one's in really nice shape. It's about an XF. It's got the 3 folds like it was being put in a wallet. And a couple of my most favorite notes I just recently got in the last 3-4 weeks are these obsoletes. This is a state of Georgia Bank of Commerce. This was issued during the Civil War. This one has actually been signed. Yeah, it's a little rough around the edges. This is probably grade of VG, but you know, I'm not going to complain. These have beautiful vignettes, and typically these were printed from a company like American Banknote in New York. Okay, the reverse has what looks to be a signature, and then you have the pass-through of the ink. And the paper in these is really thin, which is why you could almost see right through it. Okay, so that's the Georgia. And the final one rounding out this session is a Bank of New England. This is a state of Connecticut. This one is crisp, uncirculated, no folds. It's perfect in every way. And I didn't pay a ton of money for it because, you know, there's quite a bit out there in this condition. But, you know, who can argue with an old note during the times of the Civil War? These were issued by the banks, by the way. They weren't issued by the Bureau, you know, the federal government. You know, there was a time when the notes were hard to find, so the banks had to go out and commission a printing company to print these out. So anyways, that's the second segment in U.S. currency. I got a couple more videos to show you. Of course, you know, silver has ran up, so I'm not going to go without buying at least a little bit of silver. So I'm going to show you what those are here momentarily. All right, I'll talk to you later.